Well, the conceptualizing of this festival started just after the Arangleya, and we realized that Sri Lanka needed a platform or a solution where it could be profiled well to the world. And in today's world, soft power plays a very important role. And we realized that if we kind of focus on our creative streams, and focus particularly on art and culture, where literature, art, music, and films are kind of showcased, right? And the youth gets engaged. And a profile for Sri Lanka builds, which makes it very attractive for travelers to come, and also, in a way, builds confidence among investors coming in. So that was the starting point of this. And then we realized, okay, how do we take it beyond cities, right? So we said, okay, let's create a brand name which kind of goes beyond the cities, right? So we started in Kandy, came to Colombo, and today is the first day of Colombo leg. It was difficult logistically to do it two cities, and Kandy is a very interesting city, but it needed a little bit of a movement there. So we started off at Trinity College because very important that we do it. Idea is we also focus on the youth a lot, right? So we also launched a Future Writers program a few days ago, and the deadline for that is 8th of March. Any young writers around Sri Lanka from 14 to 23 can apply in short stories, and one will be given what you call a cash prize, and he will be mentored by authors, right? So he can start his career.
Hi, so I was at the tall story short story session at the Ceylon Literary Festival today on Saturday, and actually I think it was really insightful about how people decide to write short stories and what novels are about. And I think what I really thought was that it was the Sri Lankan experience that needed to be gathered into stories, and short stories are really your thing. If it's your thing, you write it.
So HSBC has been in Sri Lanka for over 130 years, and during that time we've always considered our purpose to bring the best of the world to Sri Lanka and the best of Sri Lanka to the world. So getting involved with a project like this we think is fantastic. It's a real chance to bring some of the best authors and artists of the world to Sri Lanka, and also to showcase some of the best authors and artists in Sri Lanka to the world. So that's why we're delighted. We're also delighted to bring it to Colombo. It's the first time a festival of this nature has happened in Colombo, and we're absolutely delighted to be partnering.
November, and incidentally, his prophet song, which I've started reading.
I always find Shehan very interesting to talk to. He's a great storyteller and hilarious at that. So I make sure that every time he's on stage, I try to sit in and listen. Obviously, I'm very proud of the fact that one of us has made it so far. I've been reading Sri Lankan literature for a long time, and always gratifying to find that someone that you read and admire makes it so far and wins the ultimate prize. This particular session was very interesting because of the fact that his books have always had some changes made from the first iteration to the one that actually goes and wins these prizes. I end up reading the first version of both the books that he's written. So it was quite interesting to hear from him firsthand as to what the thought process in behind the changes that he made, and also what the changes were. So all in all, very interesting talk and enjoyable person to listen to.
As a bear, and they'll look at me and say, "Oi, it's you!" And so that's tends to. So I tend to appeal.
I was only, to be honest, I was only here really at the very end. But it was fascinating because I live in the UK and I'm a fan of Antiques Roadshow. And I thought I was quite taken up what his background and what he said and how to choose antiques. And I've actually bought a copy of his book, which is a limited edition.
I have loved this literary festival, both in Kandy and Colombo, and it's my first literary festival, first time I've ever spoken at a literary festival, and it's been very successful. I only printed this book about a week ago. I got it 3 days before I got on the plane, and I had a queue of people wanting to give me many rupees for it. It's a limited edition, only 500, specially done for this festival, and I've loved the whole process.
People making comments about my weight, even to the extent where I have been told that I may have been a fat fetus, which didn't go down to.
The session was really good. It's a much needed subject and much needed topic to talk about because there's like a social stigma behind a lady's size. Whereas there's so much more to a lady, there's so much more character, there's so much more value, there's so much more intelligence to a female than defining her based on her size. So I was really glad that I came for this session, and I was really glad with what Tina had to say and the rest of the panel, because it was an important subject discussed in the open. So I really enjoyed it.
Oh, it is really good. It's very important to bring these conversations out in open, and it's about different forms of discrimination, ignorance. I guess we are moving forward in the 21st century, and you should have more of those conversations more publicly.
I was absolutely blown away. It was so much fun, but apart from the fun, it was thought-provoking. Both the ladies on the panel were extremely well informed about the subject because they teach it. So they brought an academic kind of an angle to it. And George was well prepared, he'd done his homework. But best of all, it's the questions from the audience, which I thought were brilliant. It doesn't often happen at a Lit Fest. You do a great panel and then the questions just pull it all down. So I enjoyed myself. I'm so happy to be here at the Ceylon Literary Arts and Festival. Yeah.
Well, I think it's been so amazing to be here at the Ceylon Literary Festival. It's about time. There's so much rich literature and storytelling here in Sri Lanka that more needs to be told. I just sat on a panel about feminism with very diverse voices from American, Sri Lankan, Indian voices as well, especially the role of women in literature. I think it's so important. So I'm really grateful that this event has been held. I hope it continues every year and to draw more people to Sri Lanka and to really appreciate the treasures of what literature holds here in Sri Lanka and South Asia.